distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inauguration of an exhibition of photographs and paintings on the occasion of the SAARC International Conference on Archaeology and Buddhism, Recent Discoveries in South Asia. We would like to start today's proceedings by the traditional lighting of the oil lamp, and we call upon our chief guest today, the Honorable Speaker. Sir, if you would kindly come forward to light the oil lamp. He will be followed by the Director of the SAARC Cultural Center, Mr. G.A.W. Samarasinghe. We also call upon His Excellency, the High Commissioner of Bangladesh, Mr. Mahmoud Uzzaman. We call upon Mr. Benoy Behel, filmmaker, art historian and photographer, whose photographs are on exhibition today, Professor Edwin Aryadasa, and we also call upon one representing member, visiting delegate from the representing countries for this conference. So if you are around, we kindly ask you to come up. That is from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, the SAARC countries, and also with us from France, Australia, USA and Thailand. So if we have any visiting members, delegates, please come forward. We also call upon the very distinguished Professor Nihal De Silva to please come forward to light the lamp. With the names I call upon, Dr. Sanjay Garg, also Deputy Director Research. Archaeology of Buddhism, Recent Discoveries in South Asia, which will commence tomorrow. The SAARC Cultural Center, in collaboration with the High Commission of India and the India-Sri Lanka Foundation, decided to have an exhibition of photographs of Buddhist sites and art heritage of South Asia by eminent photographer, filmmaker and art historian, Mr. Benoy Behel, whose presence we are honored with today. In addition to this, we also have another exhibition of paintings in association with the Bank of Ceylon and the University of Visual and Performing Arts. This exhibition, The Lord Buddha Through Contemporary Eyes, encompasses a wide spectrum of paintings depicting the Lord Buddha, and the artists, interestingly, as you will see, range from an amateur and novice of a 4-year-old to a trained and well-established artist of national and international repute. So we are indeed honored to have you all with us today, and once again we warmly welcome you, sir, our chief guest, the Honorable Speaker, Mr. Chamal Rajapaksa. And now I call upon our Director of the SAARC Cultural Center, Mr. G.A.W. Samarasinghe, to address the gathering.
Honorable Chamal Rajapaksa, Speaker of the Parliament of Sri Lanka, Excellency, High Commissioner of Bangladesh, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished delegates of the member states, Mr. Binoy Bair, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure and privilege today to welcome you for this very important occasion of the inauguration of two exhibitions, Lens and Brush, that is photographic and paintings. These are two parallel exhibitions organized by the SAARC Culture Center as associated activities of the International Conference on Archaeology of Buddhism in Colombo. Starting from tomorrow, this might be a rare exhibition of works of artists and photographers in member states of SAARC related to archaeology of Buddhism in the South Asian region. This is one of the major programs implemented by SAARC Culture Center, Colombo, this year. At the character of the programs for the year, SAARC Cultural Center has been mandated to implement programs related to culture for the benefit of the people living in the region, to bind together. Both paintings and photographs reflect two common languages that anyone could enjoy, that will help people to understand what is Buddhist culture and who is Lord Buddha related to archaeology. Finally, this ideology could be helped people to understand each other. That is what we want to achieve out of all these activities implemented by the SAARC Cultural Center. The theme of the total program is Archaeology of Buddhism, and that was selected because all sorts of cultures existing in the region is mainly based on Lord Buddha and Buddhism. Everywhere in the region we can find monuments related to Lord Buddha and Buddhism. This fact was taken for granted, and we organized these two exhibitions in order to emphasize the importance of a dialogue on new findings and discoveries of archaeology of Buddhism in South Asian region. This process will help scholars of member states to develop a new state of attention for Buddhist and related archaeological sites scattered all over the region, to introduce new projects to get more benefits for the common people living in the region. We organized these two different exhibitions in one place to create an interaction among the viewers of these exhibitions on how artists see the Lord Buddha and Buddhism while they are living in an environment based on archaeology of Buddhism. So we are very happy today to be with Honorable Jamal Rajapaksa, Speaker of the Parliament of Sri Lanka and the veteran politician in Sri Lanka, to grace this very important occasion. We appreciate his presence at this moment of inauguration of these two exhibitions related to the International Conference on Archaeology of Buddhism. At the same time, I would like to pay my gratitude for all governments of member states and high commissions and embassies of member states in Sri Lanka for sending their representatives for this event. And also I have mentioned all the artists and photographers for their contribution for these two exhibitions. In addition to the Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Culture and Arts, Ministry of National Heritage, University of Performing Arts, and all other institutes and individuals who joined with us to organize these two exhibitions. And also I appreciate the generous contribution made by Mr. Binoy Bair, one of the leading film producers and a historian, by providing a set of valuable photographs on archaeology of Buddhism. Finally, welcoming you all once again, I invite everyone to join hands in all cultural activities to develop cultural cooperation among the peoples of member states. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The person who I will call upon to this podium next is a filmmaker, an art historian, who is known for his tireless and prolific output of work over the past 32 years. He has taken over 35,000 photographs of Asian monuments and art heritage, made 100 documentaries on art history, and his exhibitions have been warmly received in more than 28 countries around the world. Today we are honored to have him with us here at the SAARC Cultural Center and here in Sri Lanka. And of course his photography is displayed on the first floor at this gallery. Mr. Benoy K. Behel.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My many thanks to Mr. Chamal Rajapaksa, Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Sri Lanka, for so kindly gracing this occasion and inaugurating the event as well as my exhibition. My many thanks to Mr. G.L.W. Samarasinghe, Director of the SAARC Cultural Center. Honored to have with us also His Excellency the High Commissioner of Bangladesh. My many thanks to Dr. Sanjay Garg, who has taken such a deep and warm interest in having this exhibition here and on having these 12 films on the story of Buddhism. My thanks also to the Sri Lanka India Foundation for so warmly arranging for me to visit so many Buddhist, so many beautiful Buddhist sites in Sri Lanka. It was in fact my second visit to these Buddhist sites, and it was a deep pleasure to be there again. The beautiful paintings of Sigiriya, which remind us through their lyrical grace that there is an end to the sorrow of the world. The marvelous sights of Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, which speak of this wonderful and long history of Buddhism which Sri Lanka has. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been many years of a long journey of documenting Buddhist sites and art. I began 35 years ago in 1977, and what you see above is a selection from my larger exhibition on the Buddhist heritage of the world. The whole exhibition is presently showing in Nara in Japan, and I was asked to make a selection of the sites of South Asia, which it has been my privilege and pleasure to bring before all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Behel, and thank you for sharing with us those amazing photography of Buddhist sites from the SAARC countries. I now call upon someone who has always helped the SAARC Cultural Center with its many programs, be it a film festival, an artist camp, or a research program. He has always been there for us and will always remain special to the SAARC Cultural Center. Professor Edwin Aryadasa is a well-known media expert, film and art critic in Sri Lanka. He had the opportunity to introduce the study of mass communication at higher educational level in Sri Lanka way back in 1969. From then on, he has been associated with the progress of media of the country and was the chairman of the committee that formulated the syllabus to introduce mass communication at university level in Sri Lanka. He has been a professional journalist since 1949 and has lectured extensively on issues relating to media and allied disciplines. He has written more than 15,000 articles both in Sinhala and English. He has been a member of several jury panels to select films and other creative works over a long period of time. He was media consultant to Arthur C. Clarke Center for Modern Technologies and currently lectures at universities and appears on television. He is also an eminent author, translator, and he edited the English translations of Dhammapada, one of the biggest translations of Buddhist classics. Without further ado, Professor Edwin Aryadasa to address the gathering.
Honorable Chamal Rajapaksa, Speaker, Parliament of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Your Excellency, High Commissioner for Bangladesh in Sri Lanka. Mr. Samarasinghe, Director, SAARC Cultural Center, Sri Lanka. Dr. Sanjay Garg, Deputy Director, SAARC Cultural Center, Sri Lanka. Mr. Benoit Ben, who has become the greatest treasure we have this afternoon, because he has excelled in both painting and in producing films and allied creations. Honorable Speaker, you will fully agree with me when I say we owe a special gratitude to the SAARC Cultural Center in Sri Lanka. They have quite graciously decided to hold this prestigious Archaeology of Buddhism conference here in Sri Lanka. Most of the outstanding archaeologists in the world who are specially focused on Buddhist activities will converge upon our country in the next 2 days. So I am quite certain SAARC has paid us something of a sacred salute, Your Honorable Speaker. We will note it as a special kind of salutation done to our country. In this instance, it is quite necessary to say that I have to speak a few words mainly about the paintings that are on display this afternoon. These paintings are on the central theme of Buddhism. In the days of the Buddha, although we had a vastly advanced culture, there has never been any attempt to make a painting of the Buddha. I am not quite certain why that happened, why it happened that way. There is no record whatsoever about any outstanding devotee of the Buddha suggesting that there should be a painting of the Buddha. It has not happened. But instead, as a memory of the Buddha, they planted a special Bodhi tree at Savasti, even currently visible, currently available for worship to those who visit Savasti, and is known as Nānanda Bodhi. The idea of representing the Buddha in anthropomorphic form or personal form came centuries later, about the 2nd century AD, and it was in India that for the first time we were able to see sculptures made to represent the Buddha. Gandhara art is the most outstanding instance of the anthropomorphic or personal representation of the Buddha in the whole world. And Bactria, Afghanistan, once again created Buddhist sculptures and is the first country in the whole history to have the photograph of the picture of the Buddha on a coin. From then on, the art of representing the Buddha in human form continued. Prior to that, the representation was aniconic. The Buddha was represented either through the Bodhi tree, or through Dhammacakka, or through the footprints of the Supreme Enlightened Buddha. Sri Lanka probably pioneered in the paintings that depicted the Buddha. From earliest times, we have had mural paintings showing the Buddha in a variety of situations, both as a layman before he became Buddha and even after he attained enlightenment. In the current scenario, there is hardly any Buddhist country where you do not have portrayals or paintings of the Buddha. We, the SAARC authorities here in Colombo, have selected 54 representative paintings to show how Buddha has been depicted here in Sri Lanka through contemporary eyes. Some of these come from children, and the children have been able to communicate the sacredness of the Buddha through whimsical childish eyes. And of course, we have mature paintings by some of the most outstanding artists of this country, including Mr. Colombo, who has created a whole gallery of paintings of the Supremely Enlightened Buddha. His representations of the Buddha are so eloquent and authentic that someone, Honorable Speaker, someone asked whether the Buddha sat for him as a model for him to make those paintings. They are so thoroughly effective. So, from my point of view, while paying a tribute to the SAARC Cultural Center in Sri Lanka for creating Sri Lanka the venue of this cluster of events, which are historically very important, and also especially making Sri Lanka the place where archaeologists focusing on Buddhism will foregather to discuss the latest developments in Buddhist archaeology. We must gratefully thank once again all the SAARC officials here in this country, especially the director of this SAARC Cultural Center, Mrs. Samar Singh, and the indefatigable Dr. Sanjay Garg, who has been always alive to the things that have to be done to uphold the Buddhist heritage the world over and making it known to the SAARC world. I am quite certain, although at this stage we have focused on paintings done by Sri Lankan artists, as we progress, we will be able to show what other SAARC countries too have to show us by way of Buddhist and other cultural forms of painting. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Aryadasa, for your good wishes and continued support. We now call upon our chief guest, the Honourable Speaker, Mr. Chamal Rajapaksa, to address the gathering.
Your Excellency, High Commissioner, Bangladesh, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely delighted to be present here with all the distinguished artists, Mr. Benoit K. distinguished photographer of India, and all the distinguished guests who have assembled here to participate in lens and brush exhibition of photographs and paintings organized as associated activities of the SAARC International Conference on Archaeology of Buddhism, recent discoveries in South Asia, organized by SAARC Cultural Center. The SAARC Cultural Center has over the past 3 years established itself as the hub for all cultural activities that binds the nation of the South Asia. I am happy to hear that film festivals, artist camps, cultural programs, research programs on different aspects of culture, etc., have been implemented in the SAARC region by this regional center in order to bring the people of the South Asia together. Paintings and photographs are two forms of art that could help bring people anywhere closer. I am happy that SAARC Cultural Center has followed that concept. I take this opportunity to commend the SAARC Cultural Center for this very laudable initiative of organizing painting and photographic exhibitions today as associated activities of the main event. This event has created a platform for artists to showcase their creativity and unique talents and to accord due recognition for their work of art. This event is a token of encouragement not only for the renowned artists in SAARC countries, but also for art students, art lovers, and art critics. It is also another evidence of our success in reaching the highest international watermark of excellence in art. There is no doubt that we are once again demonstrating our ability to rise up to or above the international standards in art. The arts develop different aptitudes in artists, such as cognitive communication and expressive skills, problem solving, reasoning and comprehension. They offer a constructive and creative outlet that encourages self-expression. Creative work improves and strengthens communication and boosts reasoning and organization skills. In arts, crafts and design, artists explore visual, tactile and other sensory experiences to communicate ideas and meanings. They work with traditional and new media, developing confidence, competence, imagination, and creativity. Richness of a culture could be beautifully illustrated through the richness of its arts and crafts. We believe that experiencing the arts is linked to the individual's intellectual, personal, social, and aesthetic development. Aesthetic intelligence is what the SAARC Cultural Center is trying to propagate through this event and through all its other activities. The theme of the painting exhibition is the Lord Buddha through contemporary eyes, and the theme of the photographic exhibition is Buddhist sites and art heritage of South Asia. These two associated activities create the setting for the SAARC International Conference on Archaeology of Buddhism, Recent Discoveries in South Asia, by giving the chance for contemporary painters and photographers to express themselves in different forms in style for each other. While welcoming all artists, academics, and visitors to Sri Lanka, I request you to enjoy the experience. Take in the picturesque sights of beautiful Sri Lanka and take back with you memories of a lifetime. I heartily congratulate the SAARC Cultural Center for the initiative and all efforts in promoting and arts and archaeology in the SAARC region and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was our chief guest for today, the Honorable Speaker, Mr. Chaman Rajapaksa. Thank you, sir, for reiterating the importance of culture, and you also spoke of aesthetic intelligence, and this is one of the rare ways I have seen people describe culture. So thank you, sir, for that rather motivating address you gave to us all. We have compiled today to mark this occasion a catalogue which indicates all the paintings on display today, and we will now make a presentation of that catalogue to our chief guests, the Honourable Speaker. Thank you. We will now have a distribution of certificates to all those whose paintings are seen on exhibition today. The exhibition on this floor actually is from the SAARC Artists Camp of 2012, organized annually by the SAARC Cultural Center, but the main photographic exhibition by Mr. Bahel will be on the first floor and the rest of the paintings on the second and the floors overflowing from the first. I now call upon our chief guest, the Honourable Speaker, and the Director of the SAARC Cultural Center to kindly hand over the certificates to all whose paintings are on display today.
Anup De Silva. Jamila Ali Akbar. Karishma Hettiarachchi. Navendra Marcelin. Mahitha Disanayaka. Chavinda Dimel. Dunya Seelanada. Mahira Ahmed. Senuri Malinsa. Lassana Di Fonseca. Minduja Dodagoda Arachchi. Dinet Ratnayaka. Umali Gunawardana. Avindya Hettiarachchi. Munira Imran. Pavani Kalwarachchi. Samadhi Disanayaka. Shamalha Fonseca. Yushira Yena. Avinash Veerasekara. Yasara Vikram Surendra. Yasara Ilangako. Amarshi Dimel. Tarshana Vijay Singha. WFPS Bandara, Anusha Kumudini Dasanayaka, Yuni Chandrika Dilruchi, Lalit Gunatilaka, Piyalanta Heva Battage, Nan Lam Hong, K.A. Piyasini Jayatilaka, Shyamala Pinto Jayawardena, I kindly call upon Mr. Kodikara to accept the certificate on behalf of Nalini Kodikara. Gunasiri Kolabadiye, BP Asiri Madhushankar, MMM Rajita Lasanta Mudan Nayaka, Ramesh Pragash, Ananda Somatilaka, Ama Vanyarachi, Anup Vega, N.D. Veerasinghe, Asanka Vijayaraghavan. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Dr. Sanjay Garg to deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency High Commissioner of Bangladesh in Sri Lanka, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the SAARC Cultural Center, it gives me great pleasure to propose this vote of thanks on this very important event, inauguration of the twin exhibition, Lens and Brush. This event, as you know, is a part of the series of associated activities that has been planned to mark the main event, the SAARC International Conference on Archaeology of Buddhism, which commences tomorrow. The SAARC Cultural Center, which is the only regional center of the 8-member South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation in this country, has been set up with the intention of promoting cultural cooperation in order to bring the people of South Asia closer. In keeping with the SAARC agenda for culture, emphasis is placed on acknowledging diversity in culture and reflecting the expressions of richness of culture found in the SAARC region. With this in mind, the Center organizes events and research projects every year covering culture and arts, bringing together scholars, academics, artists, performers, filmmakers from the SAARC region. The present conference and the events associated with it revolve around the central theme of evolving a platform for information sharing and methodological consensus in the studies of Buddhist art and archaeology in the region. It is now time to pay our gratitude and acknowledge the hard work and contribution of many people and institutions who made this event possible. On behalf of the SAARC Cultural Center, let me first of all thank you, the Chief Guest, Honorable Chaman Rajpaksha, Speaker Parliament of Sri Lanka, for sparing his valuable time to be with us on this occasion. Your presence, sir, is a great source of encouragement for all of us, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. In organizing the photo exhibition, we were fortunate to receive the wholehearted support from Mr. Binoy K. Behal, an eminent scholar of Buddhist art, a noted filmmaker, and a legendary photographer. Mr. Behal has curated this special photo exhibition from his rich repertoire of photographs, especially for this occasion, and has also met the entire cost of production himself. Honorable Chief Guest Sir, the SAARC Culture Center has just concluded the screening of a series of 12 documentary films by Mr. Behal at the Buddhist Culture Center. This series, entitled The Story of Buddhism, Its Birth and Spread in India, drew a large number of people from all walks of life who were unanimous in their appreciation of this initiative by the center, as they were of the creative genius of Mr. Behal. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to Mr. Behal. This wonderful exhibition, entitled Buddhist Sites and Art Heritage in South Asia, was further enriched by the photographs of some of the rare art objects and sites through the courtesy of the Pakistan High Commission in Sri Lanka and also the Department of Heritage, Maldives, to whom we owe our sincere gratitude. Coming to the second exhibition, namely the painting exhibition entitled The Lord Buddha Through Contemporary Eyes. Let me confess before you that this was not part of the original scheme of things associated with the SAARC International Conference. However, when we announced the holding of the photo exhibition, a large number of painters approached us expressing their desire to exhibit their paintings on this occasion. In deference to the earnest desire of the painters, we conceived of this exhibition, and we are thankful to all those painters and artists who responded to our call and submitted their paintings. To make this unplanned, unbudgeted event a reality, we were fortunate to receive full support from the bankers to the nation, the Bank of Ceylon, the principal sponsor of the painting exhibition. The Bank of Ceylon has always supported the cultural promotional activities of the SAARC Cultural Center, and we are thankful to its chairman, Dr. Kamini Vikramasinghe, who was supposed to be present on this occasion, but due to some preoccupation he could not come. But we are having with us the Chief Public Relation Officer, Mr. Imbal More, and also Dushanti Jayawardena, the Project Officer, who had been our voice and ear to reach the Bank of Ceylon. Thank you very much. In reaching out to the artists, we were supported by the National Art Council, George Keith Foundation, and numerous other art galleries and organizations to whom we thank for their support. Throughout the planning and execution of this painting exhibition and bringing out the catalogue, we received help and support from Ambassador Nihal Rodrigo, former Secretary General of the SAARC, an eminent artist and an art connoisseur, Kalakirti, Mr. Edwin Aryadasa, veteran journalist and an authority on Buddhism, and Professor Albert Dharmaseri, an eminent artist and the Vice President of the National Art Council, Sri Lanka. We thank all of you, sirs, for your cooperation. Any event of such an enormity is always a result of help from numerous quarters. Many organizations and individuals whom we approached for support were very prompt and forthcoming in lending their helping hand to us. We thank the Ministries of National Heritage and of Culture Affairs and Arts for their help and support. Various cultural institutions under the two ministries, namely the Department of Archaeology, the National Museum, the National Archives, and the Central Cultural Fund, who all lent their support. Sri Lankan Airlines, the official airlines of the conference, the Light of Asia Foundation, especially the founder chairman, Mr. Naveen Gunaratne, a committed friend of the SAARC Culture Center, always prompt and forthcoming in extending his helping hand. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Jayawardena for providing the media coverage to the entire event, and to Dr. Prasad Javira and Manoj Upashanta for helping us in this regard. Messrs. Atkin Spence Travels, our travel partner in the post-conference tour, and in particular to Dr. Prashant Pereira, the General Manager, and the Sri Lanka Tea Board for adding a special flavor to the conference. We also thank the Embassy and High Commissions of the SAARC member states in Sri Lanka for their support. Especially I would like to thank His Excellency Ashok Kekanta, High Commissioner of India in Sri Lanka, for extending his unflinching support in organizing the screening of the documentary films and also the photographic exhibition, which you will be seeing in a few moments from now. Also, we thank the SAARC Division, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of Sri Lanka, especially the Director General, Mr. V. Krishnamurthy, who had always been a very prompt, who has always been very prompt in his help to our incessant requests. We also thank the SAARC Secretariat in Kathmandu. A special thank to the India-Sri Lanka Foundation, and in particular we are grateful to their excellencies, the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka in India and the High Commissioner of India in Sri Lanka, the co-chair of the foundation, for their generous support in this regard. We thank our friend from the print and electronic media, especially the Buddhist TV, the Rukvahani, the SLBC, Heritage TV, the Lakbima Group, who joined us in carrying our voice and message to the farthest corners of this great land and beyond. We thank Professor Jayasena Kotegoda, Vice Chancellor of the University of Visual and Performing Arts, the Dr. W.G. Sarath Ganasiri, Dean of the University, and the entire management and staff of the J.D. Pereira Gallery for their continuous support for the artistic activities of the SAARC Culture Center. A very special thanks goes to the entire staff of the SAARC Culture Center for their tireless job in making this event a reality. My colleague Sondri David Rodrigo had always been a great support. She has personally supervised the mounting of these exhibitions. Thank you, Sondri. My other colleagues, Ereka, Apsara, Kirti, Vijay, Mahinda, Isha, Rajiv, Karma, Ruvanti, Lailin, Sandhya, Upali, Chandana, Lakmina, Ajit, Deepak, Lalin, Jaratne, all of them put in their best efforts to organize this exhibition. I owe my personal gratitude to each one of them. This time, help also came in the form of the internal coordinators, Paushiti, Shaza and Manisha, who have made the earnest efforts in piecing together this great jigsaw image that you are witnessing now. We gratefully acknowledge their help. A very special thank goes to the battery of volunteers that have joined us from the University of Jayewardenepura, from the University of Kelaniya, from the Department of Archaeology, and also from the Bandaranaike Institute of International Studies in carrying this onerous task. I thank each one of them individually for their contribution. We also thank our director, Mr. GLW Samarasinghe, for his guidance and support, which has always been a beacon of inspiration in our endeavors. Finally, I would like to thank all of those who are present here. Thank you for being with us, and please do continue your support in our future activities as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dal. That was a rather long list of thank yous, but I can assure you that every single one of them mentioned on that list did really contribute towards making this entire program in its entirety a successful one. I would now like to call upon all the artists whose paintings are displayed here today for a group photograph with our chief guest, the Honorable Speaker, Ms. Chama Rajapaksa, after which the chief guest for today will actually inaugurate this event by viewing the paintings and photographs on the floors above. But before that, please, could all the artists involved with this exhibition please come forward for a group photograph. I also call upon the interns to help in putting this group photograph together. Thank you. you.